So, what happens when a band of teenage misfits gets chewed up by the global music machine and then spits itself back out entirely redefined? I'm Candice. I'm a graphic designer and a lifelong fan of Tokio Hotel. And today I want to break down how this band went from emo icons to controlled rock mascots to fully self-directed, authentic artists. This is more than just a band story. This is a story about the brand. Okay, so a little backstory. I first discovered Tokio Hotel during their Scream era, and this is when they were trying to break into the US market. I didn't even know they had earlier albums in German until much later. And when I finally heard Durch Monsun in its original language, it was as if a light bulb went off in my head. I couldn't believe that we didn't get this version in the States. To me, it felt more raw, more lighthearted, and more emotionally powerful. As a graphic designer, branding is something that I notice immediately. And Tokio Hotel's brand had some major transformations. And today, what I am going to do is walk you through those eras, from their scrappy beginnings to their overly polished label era, and finally where they are now, fully in control of their own artistic identity. Okay, let's start with their early years. We're talking Schrei and Zimmer for 83. And their style back then, it was pure rebellion, but in the best way. You had four guys that really looked like they were from different bands. Bill gave like glam, punk, alien Prince with the spiky hair and the eyeliner, and Tom with his baggy jeans and dreads. It was very full Berlin streetwear energy. And then you have George and Gustav, who just look like your neighbor's chill older brothers who play the drums in the garage. But somehow it worked, and this is the very thing that I think made them stand out from other bands. The band's albums at this time had distressed textures, messy fonts, high contrasting colors. It was very early 2000s emo alt, but in a European way. It didn't feel at all manufactured. It felt like them. And Durch Monsun, that song was their band. Haunting, dramatic, over-the-top emotional, and it absolutely exploded in Germany and Austria. It was the #1 song for weeks. And at this time, even the music videos were very true to their brand, very rough and emotional. The sound was very theatrical and emo before it was mainstream in Europe. This wasn't a band trying to fit in. This was a band carving out a space that didn't even exist yet. Then comes the pivot and what I call the label era. But let's be honest, Scream and Automatic hit differently, and I think that matters. The Scream album was their first big move into the US market. It still had that raw and messy energy, and it felt like they were trying to break through that door without fully giving up who they were. But the brand did start to clean up a little bit. We're talking sleeker fonts, more polished textures. Even their logo was refined a bit. There was a little bit more restraint in the visuals, but the music, it still had some bite. Tracks like Monsun and Ready, Set, Go, it still felt like Tokio Hotel, just heavily translated. And then came Automatic, and this is where they really gave into the label polish. This is where, in my opinion, everything started feeling way more manufactured. The emo chaos, it was gone. The videos were high production, they had Bill in full glam leather. Tom swapped out his XXL gear for designer fits. To me, it really did feel like a label blueprint, and the band was being styled to match it. And the music, like Automatic, World Behind My Wall, it felt like it was manufactured for the American radio. It was still good, but a lot safer and more generic. You can hear the grip of commercial intent all over that record. To be fair, it worked, and this era brought tons of fans, especially in the US. And Scream did what it needed to do. But as for the sound and the visuals, it got much more mainstream. It kind of felt like that spark that made them weird and emotional and iconic was kind of dimmed. Not quite gone, but just diluted. Okay, and I really can't make this video without backtracking a little bit now that you have context to Durch Monsun. I will die on this hill. I 100% fully believe that Durch Monsun could have hit in the US. In German. Okay, and yes, I know, I get it. Their label wanted to play it safe and release an English track. But you already know on this channel, we look at history. Okay, we're taking it way back to the 80s. Nina's 99 Luftballons hit in the US in German. The English version didn't even chart the same way. There was something just mysterious and cool about the original that resonated with people. It didn't matter if people understood the words, they felt it. And Durch de Monsun 100% had the same potential. Let's just try and imagine it for a second. That track dropping in the emo MySpace era. It has the mood, it has the drama, it has the vocals, the tears, everything. But instead we got Monsun, which wasn't bad, but it was just missing something that the original had. It reached 19 when it dropped in the US. But I believe if the industry had dropped the German version, it would have done way better than that. In Monsun, the melody stayed, but it felt a lot more romanticized than the original, which had a lot of hopeful tones and lyrics in it. Labels at that time didn't want to take risks. It wasn't in English. They thought it wouldn't chart. But I think they underestimated the power of an emotional story. People don't always need lyrics to be translated. They need them to be felt. And that is how art is experienced. Dream Machine and everything since then has felt like a reclaiming of their identity. Gone is the label polished imagery. And now, abstract visuals, dreamy color palettes and high concept photo shoots, and fashion that really blends gender, texture, and mood. It feels like Bill is finally fully himself again. Artistic, theatrical, unapologetic, and Tom is still chill but present, creative and supportive. The whole band feels like it's finally aligned. And the music also shifted. More synth, experimentation, more softness. It feels like they weren't chasing the radio anymore. They were chasing something real, vulnerability, nostalgia, imagination. And visually, you could see the difference. Their videos now look like short films, and their social presence feels personal. Curated, but personal. And it's in a really artistic way. This is what happens when artists reclaim their brand. And as a graphic designer, I see this transformation as something so inspiring. It's not about going back to the past. It's about evolving into something new without losing who you are. And if you have been watching Kaulitz and Kaulitz, you already know. These two are real. Bill is totally the extra one, but Tom grounds him. Their relationship is so deep and loving. They joke, they fight, but at the end of the day, they care so deeply about each other. It's easy to think that their early brand was just smoke and mirrors, but it wasn't. The contrast, the oddball energy, that was real. They were always two different people who found harmony. And that's part of what made fans really connect with them. And even what keeps people connected now. Even with fame, heartbreak, reinvention, they are still Tokio Hotel. Just a little more grown up now, but more free than their label era. So you might be thinking, why does any of this even matter? Why spend so long talking in front of a camera about a German emo band? Because I feel like their story is much more than just eyeliner and chart positions. It is about authenticity. It is about what happens when artists get the chance to be themselves versus when they're forced to perform an idea of who they should be. And from a design and branding perspective, this is a perfect case study about identity, reinvention, and creative control. Tokio Hotel started out as a wild mix of personalities, and then they got streamlined into something safer. And now, they have come back into themselves in a way that feels completely earned. I'm Candice, I'm a designer, I'm a fan, and I think Tokio Hotel's story is a message to let artists evolve, to embrace the chaos, and to trust that what's real will always find its way back.